What up, Jimmys? Just wrapped up watching season 3 of Invincible a few days ago, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this show. So yeah, spoilers obviously ahead if you haven't seen. Also, you are banned from the channel if you say any comic spoilers. So yeah, watch the flip out, bro. Firstly, I want to say thank you, Amazon, for fixing the scheduling, because that was my main complaint from season 2. The hype was consistent throughout each week, backed up by a 3-episode start to the launch, which was great to air the episodes, so props to the team behind the improved release schedule. Moving along to the story, the first bit of the season focused on the multiverse arc of the show, which I didn't actually really like that much. The coolest part to come from this part of the show was, of course, the final episode of season 2, with the I Thought You Were Stronger scene, which I thought was a powerful scene for Mark to redefine his superhero code and the lengths he'll go when he is in chaos. But that didn't matter, because Angstrom ended up living from the fight, and it just went back to making Mark suffer even more. I understand it was Mark's fault for ruining Angstrom's paradise plan, and has gone mad getting all the memories of himself from other dimensions, but I just do not understand the point to this part of the show. Maybe it's to keep a constant pressure on Mark while we wait for the actual hype part of the show to come to build suspense. I'm not too sure, but more likely it's to set up some dog water storylines in the future. Then we have a pretty hyped moment from the show being the Invincible War, which for some reason people overhyped and made it sound like an actual important plotline in the show, when in reality it lasted like less than half an episode and was just focused on Angstrom's revenge. I'm not a fan of the show going down this route without a real goal in mind other than to build Mark's character, which I think the Viltrumite plot does even better. But it was cool seeing what some of the other Marks do in other dimensions, as well as a taste of the power of Viltrumites some more. I gotta say, it was sad to see Rex die, but that's just how these shows go when you have a large cast of fruitful characters and death being commonplace. Funnily enough, I thought their death did not do as much justice as it was off screen, and not much was said about him after the fact, other than the funeral, obviously. But apparently, it was worse in the comics, so yeah, I'm not trying to ignore comics, but I just don't care that much about it. But it's just crazy. That was just crazy to me. But overall, I didn't hate this part of the story by any means. It just felt overdone to where the story kind of slowed down to build suspense, when again, the Viltrumites are the real depth in the story. And it feels more forced into the story than complements the story, if that makes sense. Also, the time travel part was just so annoying. Like, I don't really know where it's going with it, but currently not a fan of it, I'm not gonna lie. First time in the story I liked what they were doing was with Immortal, and Mark just killed him, so I don't even know if that even counts as a death, but it's sad seeing him suffer, I guess. Now, let's talk about what y'all came here for. Episode 8. I Thought You'd Never Shut Up. Wow, that episode was fantastic, bro. The animation at first was great, but it was fine for the most part of the season. But the fight between Mark and Conquest was legendary. You saw the thumbnail, it was legendary. Amazing action scenes that we haven't really had since the fight with Nolan from season 1, and it was really felt like a true battle once more. Oliver and Eve stepping in also felt great, and I really thought one of them would die here, but great, none of them did. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, seeing them take down Conquest really gave me hope again for the team, as in the first few episodes, Mark was struggling to fight some random gyms. I just found it pretty funny, but it's probably just a mental state that Mark hasn't really fulfilled yet, especially considering he's still a kid. The fight was great, and truthfully made the show live up to the hype. Also, the added characterization of Conquest with him being alone was a breath of fresh air for these villains that apparently wasn't in the comics again. I do think Cecil is a huge moron though for keeping Conquest's body alive in his little dungeon in the desert. But oh wait, I almost forgot. I really like the characterization of Cecil's character and Mark and Eve's relationship throughout the season as well. Cecil's backstory was probably my favorite episode, behind the Conquest fight, of course. And it was cool seeing how he came to be and why he makes his decisions as he does. I think he messed up with Mark, but it'll end up working out, hopefully, as they are on the same side of protecting the Earth, of course. Furthermore, I think Mark and Eve are cute. I like seeing relationships work in these stories. I mean, y'all know this by now, and it was just missing from his relationship with Amber, so I'm glad it is going well so far. And yeah, overall, I enjoyed this season, especially knowing the creative additions that were added to the show from the comics. My main problems, of course, were the animation being just okay for the most part, except at the end, the weak parts of the multiverse arc, and just some episodes feeling rather slow. Similar to other action shows, I hope the next few seasons focus on the fast-paced story, the main plot, following the Viltrumites, and as well as continuing giving these some of the characters recognition and exposure they deserve, such as Alan, Battle Beast, Nolan, Debbie, etc. But the built suspense from the fights, excitement from Conquest and Nolan's return, and somewhat concrete narrative keeps the fans loving the show and waiting for more. Let me know what y'all think of the show, and I'll love to talk about it in the comments. But yeah, cannot wait for season 4.